All right. Hi, I'm Christine, and I got my helper.
Henry.
Where are you? Can you see you? There you are.
Henry.
Yeah, and Nellie's in the background there, and we're making an outside video today. Hopefully I'll be able to bring you more of these as the weather gets warmer. It's the end of March right now. It's the last week of March. And as you can see, Henry there's got the shears, and we're gonna tidy up. This right here is the kids' garden. I don't know if you can see it behind me here. So that's the kids' garden.
What do I snip?
It has all of their berry bushes that they've planted in it. It's got garlic, strawberries, raspberries, loganberries, blueberries, but the bunnies keep eating our blueberry bushes. So I'm not really sure. It's our last time trying the blueberry bushes. See if they will come back this year or not. We didn't have any bunnies this year. So bud, all of these have to be cut down at the very ground. See how the green's already growing? So cut right above the green at the very bottom. So I got my helper here. We're gonna do some cleaning up of this garden, get things trimmed down. And go all the way down to the bottom though, bud. Yeah, you can even just snap it off, I think. There we go, yep. And then we'll take it out and put it in the fire pit. We can't have a fire today, it's a little bit too windy. Something else that we really need to get done today is trimming up of our red currant bush. So this is our red currant bush here. It's a few years old now. And I just read last year you're actually supposed to trim the branches that are a couple years old because they don't produce as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing today before things warm up and it starts waking up for the years. Make sure it's trimmed up and really give this garden a good trim. That's Heidi. She's our resident gardener. She usually takes care of this garden for us. So that's what we're doing over here. The kids are gonna, Nellie, you need to come and keep helping clean up all the toys that are in here. Like they all have to go out. I want to tidy up this garden. Well, you guys can both work together to do it. So I really like giving them some responsibility in a garden that they can play in, and then I'm not always concerned about what they're doing or that they're gonna break it. I have a bit of an issue. I kind of like my garden the way I like my garden, and I get a little anxious if the kids are gonna step on something or dig something up, and I want them to have the freedom to make a garden their own. In the fire pit, bud. We're not gonna have a fire today, but we'll have a fire next when it's not windy. And so I'm taking you over now. So we actually built my vegetable garden outside of the fence. Here you can see the fence and separates the children from my vegetable garden. Every year I plant something different in here. This year I tried to make a little frame there that I made probably about a month ago, and I layered compost, so fresh quail manure compost with fresh garden or fresh compost, stuff that hadn't already been sitting for a while, and then on the very top I put a little bit of potting soil. My hope was that it would create heat from the manure and the composting, and I threw a few worms in there as well so that they could work their magic. And it's kind of had a lid on. As you can see, it's not sealed there. It blew off a little in the wind last night, and I have to water the top layer. It's getting a little dry, but you can see, you see in there, got kale growing. So a few kale. The Swiss chard and the leaf lettuce didn't come up. I'm gonna give it a little bit, maybe another week for the sun to warm it all up before I replant with a few more seeds. I think maybe I was just a little bit overzealous when I planted that. It was still a little bit cold out. It might have been 2 weeks now that I did it. And as you can see, last year I covered my entire garden in sheep's wool. I got sheep wool from a friend, and what I did is I layered quail compost, which is a lot of pine shavings which I'm not sure I'm crazy about having in the garden now that I know how long it takes for them to break down. But that's what I use in my quail pens, so we just have a lot of it. It does turn to beautiful dirt eventually. It just needs a little bit of time. So I did the lasagna method where I layered compost from our house, compost from our compost bucket there, with fresh quail manure. And I layered and layered for a couple weeks. And then when I was done layering them, I topped it all with sheep's wool. Now this is back in the fall, and I've just let it be. So you can see here, you get down, you lift up the wool, you've got, oh, the worm just escaped there. You've got so much action, and this wool is so warm. It's warm and wonderful. It's already starting to break down a little bit. I am kind of wondering if next year I just continue to layer on top of the wool. I've read that it will break down eventually, and I think if we have some good action, you can see over there, there's a few tulips that somehow, thanks to, I'm sure, some industrious little squirrels, ended up planted in my vegetable garden. And this bush here is a jostaberry bush. I'm not really sure what a jostaberry is, but the kids picked it out last year. We needed somewhere where it could grow 6 foot tall, so we put it in this garden. The plan for this year is to build a couple wire hoops over the garden so that we can grow things that will grow on vines, like birdhouse gourds and peppers and, not peppers, cucumbers. What's up now? Oh, the kids have one of the neighbors over, so now I'm sure they're playing some sort of game. All right, I'll take you over. I'll give you a little bit of a tour of the quail house. I just thought it would be kind of nice if you guys could see what we're starting with, so that as I make videos as the season goes on, you can see how things are progressing and see how, even though right now everything looks kind of ugly and desolate, the worms are still working and the sun is warming everything up really nicely, and it's really getting ready. I've kept my parsley. I overwintered it, so it's actually doing really, really well. I just put this little teepee on it a couple weeks ago to protect it from the last couple ice and snowstorms, and it's doing really well. Actually, it's going to come back beautifully. I wanted to show you as well that we have quail. So part of our permaculture process here, we don't have a very big yard, but I really wanted to permaculture as much as possible. It's something that I just started learning about last year. It just really makes sense, and quail are something that we can have that will give us lots of manure. They also give us eggs. Right now I sell the eggs, fertilized eggs, just to kind of pay for a little bit of their feed. They are expensive birds to keep, but we really enjoy them. And right now I'm gonna turn you around. I'm gonna kind of show you what the coop that my husband built for me last year for the quail. We do raise them on the ground, which means they can fly. Quail that are kept in the 1.5 foot high quail pens, which I can show you later. They never learn to fly, and if they get out, they usually just squat and sit there. If these guys get out, they jump and fly. They jump and fly, and they can jump and fly probably 30 or 40 feet before they land. So I'm going to turn you around here and I'll show you the coop. And today I'm actually going to remove some of this plastic that's on the coop to give them a little bit of time to acclimate to outside. So here's the quail coop. As you can see, the plastic blew off last night, half of it, in a really bad windstorm that we had. The plastic seems to be blowing off of that side continually. We just have winds that are catching it. That would have been the 3rd time in 2 weeks. We re-stapled all the plastic last night. So I'm just gonna remove it because they do have the middle section that is totally closed off, that they can go in. It keeps them dry, it keeps them warm. And then the other side is gonna be really nice and warm. I'm gonna leave all the plastic on there for quite a while actually, because I'd like to use that as our brooder once I start hatching chicks for the season. So I'll give you a little tour. So this is our middle section. Hi everyone. Hi. Yeah, we get some cute friends in here. They're all molting, so they look a little bit weird, but there's a door to that side and there's a door to the other side, and that one's open. I closed the other door last night and shooed them over onto this side. My hope is eventually to divide this middle section so that we can keep them separate. Ooh, it's cold out here. These might need to get new latches because these latches are great. Hi everyone. So these are all of the friends that we overwintered. I thought about getting rid of them, but I just couldn't do it. They are absolutely adorable and they're so fun to keep and listen to and watch in the summertime. But as you can see, whoop, they fly. Say hi. Hi. Because we keep them on the ground. They fly. So.
Did you throw them peanut butter?
So my daughter, to save the quail, she decided that she would take over the chores for the last month of winter, and that really gave me a time to regroup and decide if it was something that I wanted to keep doing, if it was something that made sense for us financially. So I've kind of gone into it this year with a little bit more relaxed mindset. Last year we were going to breed them for meat, and I had planned on raising hundreds at a time, and I had 2 incubators that I was constantly hatching, but we just don't have the space for that. I took over my husband's garage, which he wasn't all too happy about, so he built me this pen, and he also built me a few smaller pens that he mounted up on the fence. I'll take you over right now to show you, and they're really good if you want to isolate breeding groups for color, or I have some quail that lay blue eggs and some quail that lay brown eggs, but they can breed with each other. The quails aren't in there because I had to move them because of the windstorm last night. So they're in the middle and then the side, but don't go in unless you're going to go in and close the door. Okay, I'll take you over and I'll show you the other pens against the fence. So these are the first pens that my husband built me last spring when we got our first quail chicks. And then underneath, as you can see, we built a composter. So in these pens, they have a little hidey spot in here, but it's all wire. So they poop and then it goes right down into the compost. The kids kind of got lazy and started throwing the kitchen compost in here as well over the winter, but they're gonna have to stop that now that it's warm, and we'll have possums and raccoons and stuff coming into the backyard for the compost. So I'll just rake all that under probably today because I can get at it. But it's actually a really great system. This compost goes directly into my gardens. And this garden is going to get all redone this year because we're putting a little addition on the back of the house. So I didn't even touch this last year either because we were actually planning on starting the addition in the fall, and I thought, why even bother? And so it's something that once the addition's done and all the construction's finished, I'm gonna redo this garden. I really want to get more into things that we can eat, medicinal herbs, and the kids love having herbs that they can eat, so that's really important to us as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour briefly of our little space that we have here. I actually do need to get to work now and start cutting down some things, but as much as it's beautifully and sunny out, it's actually kind of nippy today, so I can go find my gardening mitts and get to work, make sure I trim things up and clean a few things up and get ready for the growing season. All right, can't wait to take you along on this spring and summer adventure with us. See you next time.